Yo, 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 what's up, y'all, what's up? Appreciate y'all for tapping in, man. We chillin'. Y'all already know exactly what time it is. We back here to serve some more game on the ground for them hungry hounds. Just got the pound ready for the next round, man. That being said, I hope everybody's had a good day today. My day's been alright. My day's been pretty chill, pretty normal, pretty average day in the regularly scheduled program, and we gonna get on with what we do. We gonna get on with what we do. We gonna say what you need to say. That's what we finna do. We finna say what we need to say, man. We finna get up on here and serve some game, man. Anybody who don't like it, guess what? They know exactly where that door is. So with that being said, it's goofy to me how on social media people feel a need to put out certain business that nobody cares about. Nobody literally cares about certain things. People say, oh yeah, I'm this person's this, I'm this person's that. Do you think the world cares? Why do people feel the need to put out certain business that nobody really cares about? You know? I never understood that. Like, nobody asked if you were in a relationship. Nobody asked whose boyfriend or girlfriend you were. Why? What's the point of even saying it? I've always thought that was goofy. You know? Always. There's no, there's no point. There's no point. Like, are you just trying to make it easier for the people who hate you to take over your life, to destroy your life, to demoralize your life, to take away everything that you have? Like, if that's the case, then I could see that. But some people just always constantly feel the need to overshare. And it's like, boy. But yeah, man. What are we talking about today? We need properly trained doctors. That's what we need. We need properly trained doctors. And we're going to get into the reason why we need properly trained doctors. I'm about to pull this up for you guys. I'm going to read this article for y'all. And there's people out there yelling and carrying on like always. I swear I can never get away from it. Can never get away from it. But it is what it is. Where is this? There it is right here. Doctors dismissed these three young people's symptoms as migraines or substance related, but they were really having strokes. About 10% of strokes occur in people younger than 50, so young people are prone to misdiagnosis. Insiders shared the story of two young stroke victims who doctors assumed had migraines. Another young stroke survivor said doctors were convinced she'd done substance abuses or was hungover. When Hailey Bieber had a stroke in March at age 25, it forced fans and followers to confront an underappreciated fact. Strokes can and do happen to young people. Indeed, about 10% of stroke victims are younger than 50. Dr. Donald N. Lloyd Jones, president of the American Heart Association, previously told Insider. Still, doctors and patients can overlook the signs and attribute them to more common culprits like stress, substances, or alcohol use, or migraines. As a result, some patients may never fully recover minutes. Minutes matter in terms of saving brain tissue and brain function, Lloyd Jones said. Insider covered the stories of three young people whose symptoms weren't taken seriously, due at least in part, they believed, to their age. Here's how they paid the price and what they wish would have happened instead. Xavier Ortiz was playing basketball when a few of his pals who are nurses noticed his drifting eye. They urged him to go to the emergency room, where he complained of classic stroke signs like a severe headache, light sensitivity, blurry vision, dizziness, and numbness on one side of his body. His girlfriend, Natasha Sanchez, told Insider, but the clinician told them it was a migraine, gave Ortiz an IV and pain meds, and sent him on his way. Sanchez says she and Ortiz's mom, who had joined by that point, had to carry him out to the car. That is a shame. The next day, Ortiz started seizing in bed. An ambulance took him to the hospital, where clinicians suspected he had taken substances. It wasn't until the next day, when a second neurologist looked at Ortiz's brain scans, that the family learned he had a serious stroke and only had a 3% chance of survival. This right here is exactly why we need properly trained doctors. I don't care what anybody says. If you are not a properly trained doctor, if you cannot identify what a stroke is, why are you a doctor? Why? You know? And you can't necessarily blame the doctors. It's the people who are training these doctors who are giving them the pass to become a doctor. We need better doctors because when stuff like this happens, people lose their lives over negligence. Ortiz, who lives in New Jersey, had graduated from technical college shortly before his stroke, survived through a year post-stroke. He couldn't speak, walk, or take care of himself, his stepmom said. She wondered what could have happened had her husband taken Xavier Ortiz to the ER the first night. It's in his nature to stand up to authority figures like doctors, and research suggests doctors are less likely to gaslight a man than a young person or a woman. Maybe things would have been different for us, she said. Doctors encouraged Brittany Schreier to confess. They kept asking me, "Did you do substances?" It's okay if you did, the Texas-based lawyer told Insider, but Schreier, who was 27 at the time, had nothing to reveal except that she'd been celebrating her birthday at wineries the day before. Then, in the middle of the night, she woke up with extreme nausea and ran to the bathroom to throw up. All of a sudden, I realized I couldn't move the right side of my body. I tried to stand up. I couldn't. I tried to reach for things. I couldn't. Schreier said her vision narrowed to a pinprick as she screamed for her roommates, who carried her limp body to a car and drove her to the emergency room. Clinicians ordered a CAT scan. 5 hours after her arrival, Schreier had a stroke. It was just shocking, she said. I thought strokes were only something that happened to people my grandparents' age. Nope. Schreier recovered with months' medications and various outpatient therapies. She had to relearn how to drive and couldn't be left alone since her depth perception and coordination made it difficult to walk. That's crazy. See, this is what happens when y'all got doctors who aren't properly trained, who cannot diagnose a problem with the proper, I guess you could say, remedy. People lose their lives. People lose their lives due to negligence. Not just in the ER, but, you know, I remember hearing one time there was a man in a store and he was having a stroke. I think it was a stroke. I think it was a heart attack. One of the two. But he couldn't speak, and he was trying to ask somebody for help. And so somebody called 911 to get an ambulance out there. There it is, to get an ambulance there to help him. But instead, they sent the cops. And when the cops pulled up, they seen a bottle of alcohol next to him, and he was trying to get help. He couldn't speak because he was having a heart attack. He couldn't speak. And so what the cops did instead was they decided to draw out their weapons and fire on him. And he lost his life because the police, the emergency response, the dispatch was negligent. How are you going to send police to somebody who's having a heart attack? Is that not what the EMS is for? Am I stupid, or is that what the EMS is for? For people who need medical attention, right? Right? The police are there for anybody who's, committing a crime or causing mischief or chaos in a community or in a public area, right? The police are there to keep the peace of the law. The EMS is there to help people who need medical attention. So why send the police to somebody who needs medical attention only for them to open fire on the guy for just asking for help? This is why I say people lose their lives to negligence. And this is why I say we need properly trained officials, police officers, EMS people, doctors, firefighters. We need properly trained everything. Otherwise, the negligence will just continue. And it's a shame. People will continue to lose their lives. I don't know, dude. It needs to stop, man. It needs to stop. And with that being said, man, I'm going to go ahead and get up on out of here. I'm going to get on to the next episode. I got one more to do after this. So I appreciate y'all for tapping in, man. Make sure y'all share with y'all friends, your families, your mummies, your aunties, your grannies, and everybody else that y'all know. And I'll be back with the last episode of the night. Deuces.